So I'll just give you the example what like kind of set me off today. So scrolling through Reddit,
Right.
as you do,
As you do.
and like I see this thing, and it was to do with like it was on the Halo subreddit, right? And it was something to do with like lore and characters and like explanations and stuff like that. And I'm just sitting thinking to myself, why are you bothering? Why are you bothered?
What? Why are
Why are
people?
you?
Why are they bothering about like talking about the lore of a series that they clearly love?
No, like I get that. Like like I'm a huge Halo fan. I love the lore of Halo. I love like you know that grandiose kind of you know I just really like the story, but like people will sit and argue over I don't know, just things that are just pure pointless. Like,
Hmm.
do you know what I mean? Like, say for
Okay.
instance,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
people are arguing about like the color of, say, the armor. Like this, and they're like, well, it's actually a teal. Oh, well, it's actually a cyan. Oh, do you know what I mean? You're like,
Okay.
you
Yeah.
need
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
you need to take a step back because your eyes are so they're literally on the page. They can't see any words anymore. You need to just take a step back. Do you know what I mean? Do you get
Yeah.
that?
I get that. Like discussing things like that and like getting heated about it is pretty pointless for
Mm-hmm.
sure. Yeah. I
Definitely.
definitely I definitely get that.
Like I don't really know like exact examples, but like I've seen like some comments and stuff, and it's like people getting like they're so angry they're burning calories. They're like the caps lock. They're like how can you think this? And they're like citing all these articles and blah 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 and blah blah blah. And I'm like, listen, like I'm a fan of things as much as the next person, and I like all those kind of like wee juicy details and history and lore and stuff. I really do appreciate it, but when some people just, I don't know, they feel like they have to have every single detail ironed out
I
for
the
for some.
mhm.
It's so strange.
people people get too into stuff. I
Yeah.
mean that's the whole problem with the whole stand culture thing that's around nowadays. Which
Damn.
it's incredibly ironic that a good probably most of these young people, like kids that are in this whole stand culture thing for like certain people like
Mm-hmm.
YouTubers and fucking like music groups and all that kind of shit, most of them use the word stan not knowing
The
what that
origin.
actually comes from, and that
Yeah.
it's actually an incredibly negative thing and it's
And
not something you should be proudly calling yourself.
definitely not. I would like if some like we came up when Stan was first released. Shout out to Dido and Eminem.
Yeah, yeah.
We were maybe kids, maybe I
Mm-hmm.
don't know, 10, 11.
Probably about
Um,
that.
so like we seen the music video and like we obviously seen the Stan obsession, and
Yeah.
it wasn't like obsession how it's used like these days, how people say I'm obsessed. But like this was like a fixation on someone that they didn't know, had no idea of knowing.
Yep.
But they felt like they knew everything about them, and they're and as you say, like people go, I'm a stan, I stan that, and I'm like, oh, if I was that celebrity, you'd be in a watch list. I
Aye.
stand there. Do you know what I mean? Because like, well, we obviously seen what happens in the video, and I encourage people to go and look it up if they ever want to kind of get a bit of education on, I don't know, word culture, how words form, how where things start. I don't know what the word would be, but you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
it's not what I would consider a
That's
good
yeah.
thing or
Like
something that I'd want to aspire to.
yeah, definitely not. It's just it's insane. Like it's so much worse way I feel like it's gotten I feel like a stan kind of culture around certain people has gotten worse
Mm.
with things like YouTube and Twitch because people form parasocial relationships with these
Yeah,
creators. They
yeah,
think they get in their head that this person that they watch is their friend because they watch them so much, because they know so much about them. Because it's like the way you consume the way young people consume like content on the internet today is so different for like obviously, you know, just watching movies and TV shows. It's like this whole like thing where it's like, oh, I'm just gonna. I feel like I know this person because I watch all these videos of them where they're constantly talking about their lives and all this blah blah blah. It's like, but you don't really know them, and they don't know you.
Aye, you know what they've put up, and you might know it very well, but you know that's, especially for a lot of people online, I think they put on a character. Nobody really acts like that.
Yeah.
All the time. Do you know what I mean? No one goes, you know, just no one does an intro every time they see someone.
Yeah.
You know, the same. You know, you're getting a very edited version of someone, and especially when you're talking about like YouTubers, especially I think because people don't ever consider that could be a character or a version of that person.
Yeah, it's a character or just like an exaggerated personality. Them exaggerating themselves to be more high energy and stuff like that, to be more entertaining.
Exactly.
And people are just like, people just think like they're like that all the time. It's like nobody could possibly be like that in real life, like 24/7.
Definitely not. I mean,
yeah.
If you look at like a lot of actors and stuff like that, they're literally portraying, you know, everyone else but them. But you know, these really hardcore, obsessive fans think that they know them personally. Think that it's weird. Like they'll start to read into things as if they know the person, or she did that role because blah 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 and this in her life, and you're like, how have you got the inside scoop? TNT are there. Do you know what I mean?
It's insane to me when I see people do that, like online a lot as well. Like you see like a clip. But like like especially on Reddit, it's like fucking Reddit's so bad for it. I mean, YouTube comments as well. But like, fucking there's a subreddit called Livestream Fails. That's basically a whole subreddit dedicated to just clips, for like Twitch streams. And it used to be a place to post. Oh, look at this person was streaming this game and something crazy happened that fucked up the game for them, or like something happened to them while they were playing it, like they dropped a drink on their keyboard, so like shit like that. Actual fails happening during live streams. It used to be that. Now it's turned into drama posting. Like, oh, look at all these two streamers have got in an argument and don't like each other. All for the next week, it's going to be just us constantly posting clips about, oh, look what they said about them, oh, but look what they said back, and look what they said about them, and that's all it is now.
Exactly.
Right? It's just like drama shit, and it's just. There's still occasionally good shit on there, but a lot of the time it's just, I'll look at these big Twitch streamers and the drama that they're in.
The worst thing about that, sorry.
I was just going to say, and the amount of times you'll see like a clip, like a 30-second clip, possibly taking somewhat out of context of somebody talking about something on there, and then the comments will be filled with people fucking analysing it and being like, oh, well, you can see because of the way his face was here when he said this, you can clearly tell that this is the way he meant that. And it's like, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, what you've no fucking idea.
The only person that knows the way that they had said the thing was the person that had said it.
It's just like, it's actually insane.
But for me, like, part of the worst thing about it is that the stuff like that, information like that, like YouTube drama or whatever it is completely, it's like non-information. Like, if you have, say for instance, like you've got like a YouTube drama video, right? And then you've got like a video that's, I don't know, how to assemble a chair. Like, you'll get the people that will watch the drama and stuff like that, and there'll be, and thousands of videos will be prompted from it, and posts and all that kind of stuff. There'll be so much drama about the drama, the information that is just, there's nothing behind it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And the people that the drama's with, they're probably like direct messaging each other, going like, "This is crazy." That's
the craziest thing, is that people will see this drama happening between like two streamers or two YouTubers or something like that, and they'll blow up into this big thing like, oh, they must hate each other and all this being said about each other and all this blah blah blah. And then at the end of the day, they are more than likely just like sitting there being like, messaging each other, going like, this is stupid, isn't it? Let's just, or they just don't care and just aren't talking to each other, and they just don't, and they just
Yeah.
don't care, and they've moved on with their lives, while all these other people are like just constantly building this fire up of something that basically doesn't exist.
I think it highlights for me, especially like if you're becoming that involved and that active in someone else's almost like their dirty laundry, really, or just a part of their life that they themselves would rather just move on. They would just rather be like, do you know what, I don't want to talk about this argument or this drama every day. I don't want to talk about it
Mm-hmm.
at every opportunity, and I don't want you to jump onto my comments and say, "Oh, at this timestamp they made a face and this meant that." Do you know what I mean? That person's
Yeah.
just like, ugh, I think some people, in lieu of, or maybe between the time that they've really found themselves, look for other things to kind of claim or
Yeah.
become a part of. I think that's just, I don't know, it's one of the kind of, you might agree, but one of the worst kind of fandoms is the Rick and Morty fandom.
Oh, they're pretty bad. They're pretty bad.
It's so bad. Like, now, see, for me, right, my personal philosophy and like the whole Rick and Morty thing is that unless otherwise stated, like, unless there's like a clear progression in story, it's just a random adventure in a random universe. It could be any Rick, it could be any Morty. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
There's no section. Do you know what I mean? There's no timeline. It's just a random occurrence. It's like a kind of one take from one universe kind of thing.
Yeah,
But
pretty
like,
much.
people, that's the way I see it. I just kind of see it as, look, it's a cartoon. They're having fun. They might do a story. They said it at the end of season 4. They might do a story. They might just do wee odd adventures and stuff like that. And it kills me that the animators and the people, the writers that work in the show, they're having to like take time out the show to kind of explain to fans because they're that toxic.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, we might not do stories. We might do this, but say for instance, if they hadn't had that kind of disclaimer in their cartoon, their fans would have went crazy. They'd have been like, "What is that? This isn't Rick and Morty." Ah,
Mm.
do you know what I mean? I don't know if it.
What happened to this character for the first season? It was clearly going to have some big story in. We've not seen them in ages. Why is that not showing up again? It's like, we never said it was going to show up again.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Let me ask you. Let me ask, right? Like, we're very similar in the ways where like we can take things at face value and that kind of thing, right? But see, Rick and Morty, do you kind of look at that program or cartoon, whatever you want to call it, and say, "Wow, that is going to have the most fleshed out chronological timeline with important character development and character turning points and rich, vibrant history"? No,
of course not.
you're like, you just kind of see it for what it is. It's a cartoon, and what they deliver to you in that episode or in that series is the cartoon. You don't have to go and look for like, this wasn't in the program, but these coordinates and it means this and it means that. I don't know if you've seen like the latest episode.
I've actually only seen the first like 2 episodes of this season, I think. But I've been hearing a lot of people talking about the rest of the series, and it's just made me be like, oh, for fuck's sake, you guys need to relax.
I really like this series. I like what they're doing visually, story wise. Even when it's just like a wee throwaway story, there's a lot of good jokes, and I'm not obsessive, but I'm enjoying the series.
Mm-hmm.
And without giving too many spoilers away, you kind of you get a nod or a kind of direction towards the Rick has feelings for a man.
Okay.
Right? No, it's never really flat out stated, that Rick has feelings for the man or whatever it is, but there's the kind of sentiment, or there's the idea is there. And I like to look at what theories and stuff like that, because there'll be people that will go like that. This was in this scene and that was in season 2, and I like the Easter eggs like that. And all it was people dying, absolutely. Like it was if they were on the front lines of the beach in Normandy, and they were literally dying to tell you Rick's gay, or Rick's bi, or Rick's pan, and it was just all these things, and I was just kind of like, we've seen this guy fuck planets.
That was my first thought. I was like, is it really a surprise
Like,
that he's bi or pan or whatever? Like, I genuinely, when you said that, I was like, that makes sense. Like, it doesn't seem like the kind of guy that would be. I don't know, he seems like the kind of character that probably would be based on everything we've seen of him. Like,
exactly. And so like, this is like in the episode with Unity, which was I don't know, I can't remember. Like, Unity was like a hive mind kind of thing.
Aye.
There was men and women in that.
No. It was
Do
like,
you know what I mean? And
I feel like it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, now that I think about it, it's pretty obvious that he probably is just into anybody, any gender,
anything
like,
he finds attractive.
it makes sense. Like, it's just like, yeah, I mean, we've basically seen episodes where that kind of confirms it before.
Not
really a shock.
to me, it's just seriously like, I'm just kind of like, yous are all arguing, and some of the arguments are pretty heated, and it's just, and you're like, it's a cartoon character who's fucked planets and hive minds and aliens, and you know, you never really see him. Maybe it was just like the moment where it was just like, well, we've never kind of really seen this from Rick.
I guess, yeah.
But I think we like the toxicity of trying to quickly label him as like gay or bi or whatever it is. Like, why? Like, if that was a normal person in the street and they had made a few comments like, I like girls and, you know, I like boys, whatever it is, you wouldn't just be like, oh my god, they're gay. Oh my god, they're bi. I don't know, I just don't get it. I just don't get this obsession with like trying to categorise cartoons and cartoon history and cartoon characters. I don't know. I just think it's like, you're not enjoying the cartoon at this point. You're kind of just needing the information from the cartoon to fill your head canon.
Yeah. That's pretty much what it feels like a lot of the time. People have these headcanons a lot of the time, and they get so excited when something like that is something they thought to themselves is actually like comes up in the show or whatever, and then they get so excited about it. And it's just like, I mean
you can enjoy things.
I'm not going
to sit here and tell people how to enjoy things or how to kind of consume what they're watching or whatever it is. I just think there is a line to be drawn where people are kind of
just overly obsessive. Just overly obsessive about something that's no that important.
Exactly. Like, I don't know. I think people want. I don't know if it's just like the way that kind of media and movies have been going recently, but people want this like a multiverse, and people want a hugely intricate history of why the characters ended up there, where you kind of meet them. And I don't know, it's kind of killing storytelling for me, because a story is good because all the elements that you need in the story are self-contained within the story. You know, if I watch a movie, I don't need to know the history of the main character's parents or what dogs they've adopted and what that could possibly mean.
This is the exact reason why I came to hate that YouTube channel, CinemaSins. This exact thing. When I first watched them like years and years ago, when they were like a small channel and stuff, it was one of the things where I would watch their videos and I'd be like, oh, this is fun. They're just like going through movies and just like pointing out like dumb things in the story that don't maybe make the best sense, or like they'll be like, oh look, you can see a camera guy in this reflection of this glass in this scene, just shit like that, and it was like, it's fun to like go through and see that. And then it devolved into just them actually trying to properly critique films, but also then being like, oh, but we're just joking. But then you're like, okay, but this like actually sounds like you're genuinely trying to critique the film and not making jokes. But the critiques you're coming up with is the stupidest shit that makes no sense. And
exactly.
it's literally things like, why is not every single thing in this movie explained to me all the time so that I 100% know what everything means all the time? And they think that's a critique, a storytelling. It's like, what do you? On the one hand, you will complain about too much exposition, and on the other hand, you will constantly bitch about things not always being explained to you all the time. It's like
that guy's YouTube channel is in absolutely dire straits because I'm the same as you. Like when I first watched that, I'm like, this is good. This is fun. You know, it's like a recap of a movie, and you know, there'll be things you missed, things you didn't. And then, like, I think the last time I'd watched it was maybe like last year or the year before, and I was watching it, and one of, like, I can't remember what it was, but one of the sins, I'm like, and it was to do with that. It was to do with how he didn't understand a part of the story, so he was like, "Oh well, if I don't get it, well, I'm going to put it down this in." And I'm like, when he said, I can't remember what the movie was or what the thing was, but when he said it, I'm like, but that was explained.
Aye, that's the thing as well. People have realised that, like, there's so many times in videos where they'll be like, why, how come this happened? That doesn't make any sense. They never explained that. And then you, somebody who actually did watch the movie, you're like, no, but they did though. There was an actual scene where they did explain that, so why are you saying that they didn't? Like, you're literally just making shit up now. Or you just didn't pay attention to the movie, so you have no right to critique it in any way.
Exactly. The whole thing with Cinema Sins is it's just like I don't know. I think they just put videos out now.
This thing. It used to just be like they would just put out. This thing. It used to be they would just do whatever movie they felt like, and then it became a thing of, oh, well, let's always just do movies that are related to new movies that are coming out, so that we can get views. So it's like, oh, there's a new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. Well, let's do 3 videos of all the 80s ones, the 3 80s movies or whatever. Let's do videos of all of them because everybody will be searching up TMNT, you know?
Exactly.
And it's like, so you're not doing it because you wanted to review the movies, you're doing it because it'll get you views.
You've reduced your quality to, I don't know, increase your audience.
Aye.
And at the same time, well, they've lost 2 people who, you know, used to enjoy them right at the start and then was kind of like, well, what is this? You know, you've kind of seen the channel change into something that it wasn't.
Aye, and it's one of the things as well, like, the longer you watched them, the more you realised, oh, they just, like, use the same jokes over and over again in every single video, and it becomes so fucking old so fucking quick. It's like, it's one of the things where, like, oh, that's kind of funny. Okay, they're doing it again. Okay, they're doing that joke again. Okay, they're doing that joke like every video. Okay, that's just no funny anymore.
Yeah.
If you want a good YouTube channel that does really good movie critiques and reviews, Red Letter Media is great. And I would highly recommend.
I've also got a channel to recommend. They do Dead Meat. Have you heard of Dead Meat?
I don't think so.
It's a YouTube channel, and what they do is they take, or they get horror movies, and they do like a kill count.
Oh, okay. I have seen a couple of their videos before, but I didn't remember like what the channel name was. But I've definitely seen a couple of them. Yeah.
The channel. The presenter James A. Janice, like they don't just give you the movie and then like their opinion of the movie. Like they deliver like behind the scenes footage, and like you can tell that the guy's really passionate about like the horror genre. Like you'll see, he'll go to conventions, and you know he's got his own podcast. So like this isn't just kind of like a hobby for him that mounted into a good career that he's kind of melting. He's like, well, what horror movies can I do? And you know, some of them I'm even like. What I really like about the channel is that they do really obscure horror movies that I've never heard of and I would probably never see. And what's good for me is like I can't imagine you would get many views with an obscure kind of movie.
Yeah.
Like you're saying, like Cinema Sins kind of sold out a bit, and they're like, "Oh, it's coming out this year. Let's do this." Blah 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 blah. The Dead Meat guys just kind of seem to, I don't know, they pick movies they like.
Yeah.
Obviously, like they'll wait till you know certain ones have came out in the cinema. But what I really like as well is that he encourages people to go out and like buy the Blu-ray or buy a copy and stuff like that to kind of support the movie. So for me, like when I watch that channel, you can tell that one, they actually care about the content that they're producing. They're not just in it for the views and the clicks. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like you're never gonna hit the trending page with some random fucking like vampire movie for the 70s or something that nobody's heard of. I mean, that's like it's good to have a mix of I want to do videos or content around things I just genuinely care about what I do, and it doesn't really matter if it's going to get me hundreds of views. But also, you know, it's totally fine to occasionally be like, oh, this thing's popular now, and I think it looks interesting, so I'm going to do a video about it or whatever. That's fine as well. It's fine to do that, like if it's something that you're also like interested in, but just only doing something because it's going to get you views, I can't understand that. It's just like no passion in it whatsoever. It's just at that point, it's just you're just doing a job.
Like, if you thought ever on your YouTube channel that I'm trying to think of maybe like the worst game in the world, like that ET game.
Oh, the classic ET and the Atari 2600.
The classic. If you had found like say like a mod or a ROM of that or something like that, whatever it was, and you knew for a fact that you were going to get like 100 million views, but you would have 3 hours of playing it and just having the most miserable time.
Yeah.
Would you do it?
No, probably not. This is.
I mean, it wouldn't translate really, would it? Because if you're not having fun and the people watching you are not having fun.
Exactly. That's that. I mean, that's exactly it. I've had so many people. I've had occasional things on my streams where I've had people come in and they've said like, oh, have you ever played this game? And it'll be something like, oh, have you ever played like Roblox or like League of Legends or something like that? Mm-hmm. A game that I have no interest in playing. I know what it is, but I have no interest in it whatsoever, and I know it probably gets good views because they're big games. And they'll come in and they'll be like, oh, would you ever play that? Or have you ever played it? And I'll be like, nah, I've never played it. And they go, oh, you should play it on your stream. And I'm like, I'm not really interested in playing it. And they'll be like, oh, I know, and stuff. And I'm just like, I'm not going to play a game that I know that I'm not going to have any fun with, because if I don't have fun with it, then it's going to be shit content, and then you guys are only going to enjoy watching it. So it's like, what's the point?
Mm-hmm.
There's no good reason to do it.
That highlights a bigger issue that it's quite good to talk about, which is like when you do get people that are kind of like small, like yourself, like they have like a small YouTube channel or a small online business or whatever it is, because of the mediums in which that they sell, people can have direct contact to you and they can suggest things directly to you.
Mm-hmm.
But see the people suggesting stuff or asking for stuff, I bet you if you did what they were looking for, you'd never see them. You'd never see them being like, this is exactly what I was looking for. Thank goodness you done this. Like, I've heard so many stories, like especially on Instagram, where people sell their stuff for Instagram, and they'll get comments like, oh, I really like this product, can you do it in blue? Or, I really like what you've done here, can you tweak it this way? And like the person's like, if you're interested in buying something like that, I certainly don't mind doing that at like no extra cost kind of thing. And then, they make the product and then the person like just ghosts them. And to me, it's almost like, people don't want to make their own content, or people don't want to put themselves out there with their content, but they will happily tell you they want you to deliver your content, if that makes sense.
Yeah, they'll absolutely. They could have absolutely no interest in actually watching you, but they will 100% tell you what you should be doing.
Mm-hmm. I would want, like, I don't know if they labour under some sort of false delusion, like, well, if you do this, maybe I'll start watching. But for a fact that they have no interest in watching because, well, the interests don't match up.
Yeah.
People
that don't understand that not everything is made for them.
Exactly. And some people think are arrogant enough to believe that everything that they see is for them. And it should be catered to them, and it should be changed for them to like it. And it's just like, it's crazy to me that so many people don't seem to understand the difference between not liking something. Like actually not liking something and thinking something is bad is not synonymous. Definitely, yeah.
Right, like for a perfect example for me when it comes to like video games, which is obviously
Mm-hmm.
my passion, I would say. Um,
Mm-hmm.
there are so many game series that exist that are super popular, and
Yeah.
I know a lot of people that like them, but I have zero interest in. I don't think I would enjoy playing, but I don't think they're bad games.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say they're bad games, and I wouldn't say, oh, how can you like that game series? It's so bad just because I don't like it. No, like I don't like Resident Evil. I've
Mm-hmm.
played multiple Resident Evil games. I've never enjoyed playing a Resident Evil game. I've just never enjoyed the series at all. Any game I've played, I've just never had fun with. So I don't play the
Mm-hmm.
series. I just don't play them. But I don't think they're bad games. I can completely understand people liking them.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it's
Yeah.
like it's one of those things where I'm like I understand why it's popular. I understand why you like it, but I just don't. I personally just don't. It's just
Mm-hmm.
not for me. But there's so many people out there that just think, well, I don't like this thing. I played this thing and I didn't like it. So why the hell do you like it? Why are you playing it? It's bad. It must
Mm-hmm.
be bad because I didn't like it. It must be bad. And it's like that's
You're right.
not how it
Yeah.
works.
Like if like just big on what we were saying there, like if someone sees you playing a game that they themselves didn't like, why is it suddenly your responsibility to be like, this person didn't like that game, so now I can't like that? Do you know
Aye,
what I mean? Like, why as a person can you not just let people enjoy their things? And like, there's a lot of games that I
oh,
don't like. You know,
just let people enjoy
like
things.
exactly like I don't like Monkey Ball. You know that,
Yeah,
but I don't doubt that that's a really fun game for people who enjoy those games.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like it's fun. The monkey golf as well. Like I hate golf in every sense of the word. Like I would never go out golfing. I would never play a golfing game. But I can see why people would think that's fun. I wouldn't march up to people and go like that. You're a piece of fucking shit. How dare you? How dare you play a game I don't like?
yeah. Like if you've seen somebody play Monkey Ball, you would be like, oh, wow, you're playing Monkey Ball. That game's fucking shit.
I know.
You
Like
wouldn't say that. But if they say
you
to
just
you, do you want to play with me? You'd be like, nah, I'm alright.
you just
Because you just don't
it's not really for me.
like it. It's like it's fine. It's just
I'd have I'd have more fun watching you have fun than me
aye,
being miserable playing it. You know.
aye. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. Speaking
I don't know. I
of
think.
speaking of games that people haven't really played and maybe not like and all that,
Mm-hmm.
you were talking about buying Dark Souls, weren't you?
I was talking about buying Dark Souls. Yes, I've not bought it yet though.
Oh, you haven't got it yet.
No, because
Mm.
I was kind of hoping that you maybe have a copy.
I absolutely do not. I own it on PC and on my Switch, but they're both digital copies, obviously. I don't think me or Frankie. I'm pretty sure both of us only own digital copies of the games. I don't think either of us own any physical. I mean, Frankie might own a physical copy of one of them,
Mm-hmm.
but I know
Well,
I only own them digitally.
well, you're a piece of shit for not catering to my needs. But
Uh,
I played Dark Souls before. I'd played it. Well, I would say I'd done the tutorial. I think I maybe played the first 2 hours,
mm-hmm.
and I think I got up to the first boss, like on the bridge. Is that right?
Yeah. The tourist demon. Yep.
Uh huh. Um, I think I beat him, or I can't remember. Where is it you meet the guy? You meet a guy at a fireplace.
Are you talking about Solaire, the guy with like the sun thing on him on his chest, or
If you attack him, does he chase you to the end of time?
that's every NPC basically.
Oh right, okay. Well,
If you're talking about the guy that's in Firelink Shrine that you talk to, who's like kind of sitting down, and when you talk to him, he just kind of says some shit and then laughs. Although that's technically every NPC as well, to be honest. Then I mean, yeah, there's multiple NPCs you'll meet at bonfire, so it could be a lot of people. But I'm pretty sure I know how far you would have got anyway. But
well,
yeah.
I basically got to that point. And I'm a wee ticket. I think I'm some shit. And this guy's saying something to me, and I didn't like what he was saying, and I was just like, "Well, no, I'm going for it. I'm just going to attack you and just see what happens." And then I remember running, maybe for a good half an hour, before I realised that the chase was never going to end. Like he
Yeah.
was literally just going to chase me until, I was dead, and I was like, after like after the tutorial and all that kind of stuff, I was just kind of like, I need to put this game down. I need to get away from him. Worried that he's actually going to follow me out the game. It's just that stressful.
You know the funny thing is, there is a point in the game that you get to where there's a NPC that you can talk to that will abolish your sins for you, and then NPCs that you've upset like that will stop chasing you or stop trying to kill you if you go near them. So there is actually a way to fix it, but it's not super far out in the game, but it's quite a few hours on before you even get to that point.
How far in the game, can you take a break from looking over your shoulder?
I mean, just don't hit NPCs, because usually they're pretty important and I've got useful items and shit for you later down the line. So it's probably just not a good idea to do it in general.
I'm kind of thinking, I'm playing Dark Souls, and I'm kind of like, oh, this is a wee bit like Fable, in no way whatsoever. The fact that there's fantasy elements.
Yeah, I mean it's like Fable in a sense that you can't kill anybody and everybody that you see, but unlike Fable, they will absolutely kick your fucking shit in.
Well, this is it. I'm used to in Fable punching down, and in Dark Souls they ask, yeah.
In Dark Souls, every random enemy can absolutely kill you so easily. So it's you have to be wary of everything.
I hate that. I just hate that. I hate how because you could hit someone by accident.
That's true.
That's and then true. All of a sudden you've got this shitstorm. You're coming your way. I
think a lot of the NPCs will not attack you from one hit unless you hit them with a really strong weapon. I think it's a certain amount of HP they need to lose before they actually will get upset and start fighting you. I think.
Throwing hands.
So if you're at the start of the game, you accidentally swing your sword at one, I think they probably wouldn't go after you immediately, but yeah, for the most part, most NPCs there's maybe 2 or 3 NPCs throughout the entire game that are worth killing to get items that they drop, but for the most part, most of them you don't want to. Not even just because they'll kill you, but because they genuinely give good shit. They can give you good shit later, or they have really interesting stories throughout the game and stuff like that.
Information you need.
Aye, information you would definitely need. So it's just not a good idea.
I'm definitely interested in at least completing the first one. Just and then just kind of seeing where it goes from there. Have you thought any more about playing Skyrim?
I've no. I've played. My thoughts on the game, the news, it's still in the mindset of I played Oblivion and I found it incredibly boring and not very enjoyable. So I feel I wouldn't really like Skyrim.
I get that. I mean, I've never played Oblivion. I've seen kind of game clips and stuff like that in Oblivion, and I think the fun aspect in Oblivion is the kind of glitches or the when things go wrong. And I think you probably would have found it boring knowing the what type of games you like, but I think if you were to play vanilla Skyrim, I think it would be shit. I don't think you'd enjoy it. I think you'd be like, this is just a clone of pretty much any fantasy game. But I think with the mods, you can tailor the game to kind of suit your wants from a game, if that makes sense. I was explaining this to Alan. He was like, how can you play Skyrim over and over again? How can you do it? Is it not boring? No, well, no, because even if I was playing vanilla Skyrim, you've got a lot of options in the case of what kind of character do you want to be. The same as Dark Souls.
That's the kind of. That's the thing. Skyrim's an insanely huge open world game, so it's the kind of game you could just play over and over.
Exactly, and for me, a lot of the fun with Skyrim is I think it's just the world, if that makes sense. You could kind of just be walking through a forest or whatever it is, and on a path you could come across somebody and they're like, "Here, take this armor because I've stolen it." You're just kind of involved in the story as opposed to you going out and finding the story, if that makes sense.
No.
I don't know. Like I like Skyrim because it's a good game to kind of just chill. You know, it's not particularly hard. There's nothing in it that's, there's no elements that it's difficult to get your head around. It's just what it is. It's like a fantasy game. Whereas Dark Souls is like Skyrim on a goth kick. You know.
It's true. It's true. But I don't know. I mean, Skyrim is insanely popular. I know a lot of people that do really like it and stuff. It's just I've seen a lot of people play it. I've seen a lot of gameplay and videos about it and other people playing it and stuff, and it's just never. I've never had that feeling of, oh, I should really give this a try. I've never had that feeling with the game if I've seen it in it. So I just
I get that.
Really, I just haven't.
I mean, I always say, like, if Skyrim didn't have the mods, I wouldn't play it. You know, like in the base game, there's nothing in the base game that kind of piques my interest. I'm more interested in like the mods and how I could tailor a kind of gameplay experience for whatever I'm feeling in that moment.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, mods are a hell of a lot of fun to fuck about with in a lot of games. Minecraft is a great one for that. There's so many good Minecraft mods that are just so much fun.
I don't think I've ever played any Minecraft mods.
Oh, there's so many good ones. There's so many good ones.
Pokemon ones.
The Pixelmon one is great. That's a great one. It's literally just, yeah, do you want to play Pokemon? But you can play in a fucking unlimited open world with fucking other players, and you can fight each other and build your own gyms and pretty much it's insanely good. But there's so many crazy mods. There's mods where you can be a vampire, there's mods where you can find dragons and hatch your own dragon as a pet, and there's mods where you can create tools that will mine like fucking a 5x5 area on one click. Just insane shit.
That's handy.
Just insane shit you can do. There's mods where you can create nuclear reactors to power insane machines, but if you fuck up in some way, the nuclear reactor will explode and destroy like a fucking insanely huge area of the world that you're in. Like, wow. Literal like nuclear explosions happening in your server if you fuck up.
Is that like using redstone and stuff like
that? I mean, kinda, but like there's one I've played that's the nuclear reactor I've built on a mod before was like all these different like machine block parts that you put together, and then it creates this giant like multi-block structure once it's all put together. And then there's like there's special ores that you find that you put into the machine, and it like basically becomes the energy of it. But if you like overload it too much, or if you don't, there's like cooling. You have to like find cooling, like either with water or other things to like cool the rods and the reactor, and if it's not cool enough, it'll get too hot and it'll fucking explode and just kill you and destroy your base. So it's like you have to really understand what you're doing with it. You can't just go into it and just be like, I'll just do whatever.
Aye, I'll just make a nuclear reactor and slap it with that.
Aye, just see what happens.
Just see what happens. I love that realism.
It's pretty fun. It's pretty fun. I've really been enjoying Rust recently as well. I've owned that game for like 5 years, and I never played it until like last month. And it's a hell of a lot of fun. It's very much like Minecraft in a sense. It's an open world, but it's a limited space. Like it's not like infinitely generating like Minecraft. It's like here's a big island, but it's randomly generated, and there's all these structures and shit on it. And it's just you're a guy, you've got a rock. Hit trees, get wood, build a base, craft materials and craft tools and shit, and get a bigger base, and there's electronics and weapons, and you eventually get guns, and you can get cars and all this shit. Oh shit, hold on, I'll be back in 2 seconds.
No problem.
Sorry about that, I'm back.
Fine. Was it an Amazon package for Frankie by any chance?
It wasn't actually, it was food that I've ordered, but it came a bit early.
Oh, that's cool then. I'll let you get your wee dinner.
We've been going for about 40 minutes, so it's probably a good time to finish up.
A good time to chill out, yeah. Well, I'll let you get your dinner, and I'll see you next week.
yeah, it was a fun discussion again.
That was quite fun, yeah. Just off the cuff,
Yeah.
like that. Well, I'll see you next week.
Right, see you next week, man. Take care.
You too. Bye.
Bye.